Hello, welcome to Wingin It, and welcome back to another preview video taking a look at the Wingspan Americas Expansion, which is coming out very, very soon. If you've not already seen my previous videos on the Americas Expansion, I do recommend checking those out. I've got an unboxing video, which take a look at all of the new components. I've got an overview video, which I take a little bit more of an in-depth look at the new mechanics included in this expansion. There's another video going through all of the brand new birds, and then a final one taking a look at some of my favourite picks from the preview games I've been able to play with this new expansion. I've also already done one gameplay video in which I played a game against the Automa with just the Americas expansion birds on the baseboard, so also recommend checking that out if you've not seen that one. And today we're going to be playing another game against the Automa, but this time with a little bit more going on. So you'll see we've got the Oceania boards out, and we've got our Hummingbird player overlay flipped onto the Oceania side. So we've got our nectar scoring available. And I've got a slightly larger deck. Now, what I've done this time is we have got birds from all the expansions included in this deck, including some from the British Birds pack as well. So I'm going to hope that some of those come up in this game. But it's about a 50-50 split, so I've shuffled all of my regular cards together from the base game and all the expansions, and then kept the Americas cards separate, and then, as I say, done about 50-50, so roughly half the cards in this deck, which is a deck of about 120-ish cards. About half of those are from the Americas expansion, and then half of those are from everything else all included together. So it's still going to be slightly more Americas birds than you might expect in a typical game with everything shuffled in, but it's still going to be a good blend of expansions. We're hopefully going to get different birds from different expansions coming up for more of a normal Wingspan feel, but at the same time still going to see hopefully plenty of those new Americas birds coming up. And of course we're going to be playing with the Hummingbird mechanism as well, so we're going to get a feel for how that interacts with some of the birds that we already know and love. And all right, here we go. We've got everything set up. We've got our Automa up and running. So let's take a look at what we've got in this starting hand. So, okay, Brown Shrike, not super interesting start, but we do have the yellow-headed Caracara, so an Americas bird. Linker Sparrow from the base game. Lesser Spotted Woodpecker from the British Birds pack. And then finally Inca Tern as another Americas birds there. The bonus cards, a Mechanical Engineer or Rodentologist. So, okay, two pretty good looking ones there. But yeah, got some nice options here. I think it's going to be very, very hard to say no to this lesser spotted woodpecker. I think up in the forest on these Oceania boards as well, that could be a very, very nice one to start with. And I've got to say, I think these other two Americas birds look quite interesting. This Inca Tern, I think this could be quite a strong one. Potentially cycling through cards a lot more quickly, being able to discard up to 3 cards and draw that many. So I like the sound of that, and 5 points for a single food as well is not bad. And likewise, this yellow-headed Caracara, I think if this was against human players, this would be even better. It's probably not going to trigger as much against the Automa as it would otherwise, but I think that's going to be a good one to go for, and especially when we've got this birds in Grassland's end of round goal for round number 1. Just being able to get that in there could prove helpful as well. And it might tempt me to go Rodentologist, but I think you've got to go Mechanical Engineer here. Got 3 different nest types, which are looking pretty good as well. So take a quick look at the tray. We have got the Brambling, which I think does always look good to me. And maybe this Clay Colour Thrush had that in the previous game I played, so may look at that. But yeah, I think otherwise, looking at some of these Hummingbirds that are going to get me additional resources, in particular maybe some extra cards, might be the plan early on. So as I say, we'll be discarding those 2 cards there. I won't be keeping Rodentologist either, so keeping 3 birds. Obviously get to keep my starting nectar since we are playing with the Oceania expansion here, so that's going to be a good start. And then I think I'll go for, let's go for a worm and a fish, and I think probably the plan is to get the spotted woodpecker, less spotted woodpecker and the Inca Tern out pretty quickly, and then see where we go from there. So let's grab our action cubes and let's get started with this game. So As I say, I think it's got to be this lesser spotted woodpecker. First of all, going down, so we're going to be spending a nectar, and it is going to go on our spent nectar. So it wasn't the case previous game, but as I say, because we're playing with the Oceania expansion on these Oceania player mats, we will be scoring nectar in this game at some additional points. So very good start of the forest there. We'll see. There we go. Already pink powers triggering, so didn't get the carrot out in time, but Automa is going to be taking a food out of the bird feeder, and we've got to do our hummingbird action as well for the Automa. So it's going to move up on the mango column on the scoring track. That's something I've got off screen and is just going to score points for the Automa at the end of the game. Should say as well, as with the previous game, playing with the Automa on the highest difficulty level with the Automa's Horde as well. So should we have any sort of cooperative powers that are maybe going to help benefit the Automa as well, then she will be scoring points through that as well. So on to our second turn, and yeah, going to take some food. So I'll be grabbing a nectar, and of course got to take a worm so that I can be using this lesser spotted woodpecker power. So I'm just going to go ahead and discard that straight away, get my 2 eggs, which is going to go very, very nicely here. And then we get to do our hummingbird action. We get to choose one of these lovely hummingbirds in the tray available. So as I say, definitely thinking about getting hold of some cards could be useful. I do think that brambling could well be a good one. And yeah, then maybe just playing this Inca turn and doing a little bit of digging could be the way to go. But equally, could well just grab another nectar, maybe try and get these 2 birds in, try and get the pink power out quickly. So let's actually do that. I think nectar's always good. So we'll grab ourselves another nectar, and especially with the brown power like this woodpecker, where I am going to be discarding food, naturally taking food in the forest, a little bit more nectar is going to just help play these birds a bit more quickly. So pretty solid turn there. Getting some food, getting some nectar, and some eggs, of course, in the forest. Automa also going for some eggs. We'll see what the hummingbird is going to be doing. Going to be moving over here and advancing on the topaz space. So new hummingbird coming up. Very nice. And yeah, I think, as I say, let's try and get our pink powers in, or our singular pink power, spend some nectar, and see if we can get some triggers off that, and maybe get some caches, because there's plenty of game left, and if we do get some pink power activations coming through, that's going to help score us some extra points. So we'll see now what the Automa is going to do. It's going to draw a card, and we have the same, I should say, bonus card as last time, which is the rare species lister. So Automa is going to be looking for 6, 7, or 8 point birds, and we'll keep the lowest value of those. But in this case, she struck gold because it's the white-faced ibis, so that is going to score 8 points over here. So that is a very nice start, and it's going to make our job a little bit harder. So we'll refresh that, and of course take the hummingbird action, which is going to be moving over here, and yeah, getting a new hummingbird coming up as well, and advancing on the B space. So I think, yeah, straightforward. Play the Inca turn now as well, get all my birds out, reveal my hand, and then hopefully, as I say, do a bit of digging. And yeah, see what we can get with this Inca turn, hopefully helping out a little bit there. So Automa is again going to try and draw cards this time. Not going to get anything, so it's just going to be the 5 points there. So, okay, back onto us. I think with 4 turns left, I'm definitely going to be trying to play something. And I think because there's nectar in the bird feeder, I think that's quite tempting to just go for that, pick that up. But equally, I might just draw cards, I think. I've got to see what I can get with this Inca turn. So I think I'm actually just going to start blind off the top of the deck. And okay, a couple of interesting ones here. Woodstalk, I think, is always a nice bonus card play. This Grosbeak as well, actually. An interesting double play option from the Americas expansion, of course. So I could well just go with those. I could well just keep those both, not discard anything. I think in particular the cup nest for this mechanical engineer could well come in handy, and it would be another bird if I were to double play maybe these two, or even double play into the brambling in the forest. I think that's going to be tempting. So I think I am actually just going to keep those. I'll skip the Inca turn. But what I will do is attract this white-bellied woodstar, which will allow me to draw another card. And I think I've got to take this brambling. I think it's just too good of an option, too tempting at this stage of the game. So pretty good turn for us. Automa is going to take an egg and is not going to do any Hummingbird action. We should have refreshes as well. Great wagtail. That's another pretty interesting one. But the thing is, I don't think I'm going to be laying eggs too much this game. I think with this lesser spotted woodpecker and of course with these hummingbirds, which can also help gain eggs, probably not going to need too much in the way of eggs in the grasslands. So yeah, I think let's try and... I think this double play is going to be good. So I'm going to go and take some food. And I'm just going to grab 2 nectars because nectar's always good. Being able to spend nectar, hopefully score extra points at the end of the game with that is going to be nice. So we will skip the woodpecker, but I don't actually need eggs immediately on that. And yeah, we can return our hyacinth visor bearer. So in terms of where I want to put that, I think probably just on top of here. And yeah, we will advance on the mango space and maybe get a bonus hummingbird action very, very shortly. So nice turn for us. Automa is going to reset this tray, so we'll see if that's going to reveal anything interesting for us. Indeed, a couple of nice options. American Flamingo, I think, is pretty good, but Western Jackdaw as well. I do definitely like that. Now, again, this is a situation where maybe if the Hummingbird tray was looking different, I mean, maybe it will actually, because Automa does need to take a Hummingbird action, but won't be doing anything. But if, for example, there was a Hummingbird there that would allow me to draw a card, I could definitely look at taking food, pick up the Jackdaw. This is really what I think the Hummingbirds bring to the game, is being able to do multiple things on a turn, being able to get multiple different types of resources more readily. Definitely brings more options into the game. But yeah, Western Jackdaw, I think, in a lot of situations would be very, very nice, but not got the time for it here. So I should be resetting this bird feeder because it's already empty. I'm hoping for some nectar, and we got plenty, so I am going to go ahead and take food again. This time I'll go nectar worm, and I will do the discard for some more eggs. So we'll go ahead and do that. We'll do our discard, as I say, get rid of our worm. To lay 2 eggs, we're going to need to be clearing these out, but this is where some of these double play birds are really, really going to come in handy. And yeah, I mean, now what we can do is attract a bird, attract a hummingbird. So I could well take, obviously I'm not necessarily going to want nectar here, because I've already got the 3 nectar I need to do this double play. So it's a nectar or an egg. An egg, again, I don't really need. I'll check these end of round goals. Okay, by round 3 I will need an egg on this Inca turn. So maybe, to be honest, let's just do that now. Get it out the way. So I think I will go with the Shining Sunbeam. And I will lay my egg, as I say, on this Inca turn. So straightforward turn, setting ourselves up for our last turn of the round. So we'll see what Automa's going to do. It's going to draw cards, and it is going to hit on this American Flamingo. So 6 points, not a bad turn there for the Automa. And it's going to move a Hummingbird and go up on the mango track as well. So last turn, and yeah, we're going to do our double play. So it's going to be the Ultramarine Grosbeak. And then with that, when play power, play another bird in this column, leaving no empty spaces to its left. So we'll do our brambling. The 2 nectars, and of course that's an egg and that's an egg, so we'll spend our 2 eggs. Should have reset the tray as well, not that that's going to matter. And yeah, we got our very nice double play in, so pretty solid round 1, 5 birds down for us. See what the Automa's going to do. It's going to take some food. It looks like it is going to be this berry, and we're then going to trigger our yellow-headed Cara. So in this case, I think I get to choose, so I'm going to cash a rat. Because you never know, maybe Pellet Dissector will show up for us later in the game. So last but by no means least in this round, it's going to be a Hummingbird action for the Automa. So onto our teal powers. We've got this brambling, so We get to draw 2 from the deck, and then tuck up to 2 cards behind the Brambling. And okay, we've got another interesting option here in this lineated woodpecker, so could consider going for that. Eurasian Magpie I don't think is going to be too interesting. I think these are both potentially going to get tucked here. I think these are not super interesting options for me at this stage of the game. So we'll take the points there, and yeah, advance onto the end of round goal scoring. So Automa's got to adjust their nectar, and yeah, we have 3 birds in our grasslands, courtesy, of course, of our Hummingbird. So that's a very nice start for us, getting 4 points and the win on that end of round goal. So coming to round 2, we shall reset the birds tray, see if we get any nice options coming up. Maybe we'll look at those, and then of course reset yeah, the Hummingbird garden. So get some fresh new hummingbirds coming our way, and hopefully we can benefit from those. So we'll grab our action cubes. Remember to do that in this game, and be ready to go in round number 2. So yeah, interesting looking trait. I think Cold Tit, if we go Forest Engine, which kind of seems like we are, that feels like a good pickup, and I could potentially try and do that in a couple of turns time, or maybe even just go for it now. And I think I am just going to go for it now. Draw cards in the Wetland. So we'll start, I think I'll start going 1 off the top. And okay, Sungrebe, that actually could be quite interesting. Discard 1 egg to draw 1 card, and you may discard 1 additional egg to draw 2 additional cards. So we're going to have lots of eggs with this lesser spotted woodpecker. So seeing more cards, never a bad thing. We'll go 1 off the top again. Okay, now Squirrel Cuckoo, cash 1 from your supply on this bird. Again, could be good, but when we've got the Cold Tit, which is automatically cash, not from our supply, I think that feels maybe like a better option to go with. So, oh, this is a tough one. I definitely want that Cold Tit, so I'm going to activate this Inca turn. I'm going to discard something, but I've got to decide what that's going to be. I mean, I'm also just thinking maybe there's something clever I can do here, where when I activate take my Hummingbird action, if I can land on a topaz or a mango space, I can then get a bonus Hummingbird action and maybe bring the Snowcap over and draw another card. Which honestly, I feel like I might just do that because I quite like both of these in this situation. So let's do this. So we're going to take our Hummingbird action. So as I say, we're going to move this over. I think we're going to cover the mango space. So that's going to advance up. We then get a bonus Hummingbird action, which is going to be to attract this Snowcap, which lets us draw another card. And I'm going to take that Cold Tit. So I think that worked out as a pretty nice turn. We'll, of course, replenish these and move on to the Automa's turn. So good thing I went and picked up that Cold Tit, because it did not stay there for very long. We're going to get a new bird tray coming up. With some pretty nice looking options there. Automa is, of course, going to take a Hummingbird action as well. So we're going to remove the round 1 card. Give the deck a little shuffle. And then see what we've got. Going to be moving that one over. And drawing a new one. So not too shabby. And yeah, on to our next turn. So again, some interesting options, and I think could synergize with this Sungrebe. We've got 2 options here which involve tucking cards. If we are going to have some extra ones, I could like both of those, but for now I think I've got to prioritize getting this Cold Tit in the forest. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab these 2 nectars and yeah, get ready to play that and expand this forest out and just try and get more food production going. So we'll skip the woodpecker, we'll do our Hummingbird action, and again I could try and do something clever here where maybe this time I trigger the topaz to get a bonus activation, and yeah, I may well do that. And in this case I think I'm going to bring over the long-tailed sylph, and that's going to get me a extra food here. So I need to reset the bird feeder anyway because it was empty. We're going to get ourselves another nectar, so that's worked out pretty nicely. So happy with that. End the turn. Reset the tray. Or the hummingbird garden, I should say. And yeah, now we'll see what Automa is going to do. So no birds that meet the requirement. And we'll take hummingbird action in this case, moving over here. Alright, onto our turn again. So, I think Coltit's got to go in. So we'll get that down. Spending lots of nectar in this forest, which is good. I do find it's quite tough often to beat the Automa when it comes to nectar. So we'll give her a run for her money in this game. And hopefully score lots of points there. But there we go. So yeah, Coltit going in. So that's going to be a good addition in this forest. Getting some nice brown powers. And yeah, it does feel like with Wingspan Americas, there is really a push towards engine building, activating your habitats rather than playing birds, because that's how you trigger these hummingbirds, and that's how you score extra points on your hummingbird track over here. So yeah, it does feel like that's what we're being incentivized to do, and that is what we're doing right here. So again, another turn drawing cards, not scoring points there for the Automa, but will be scoring points on the hummingbird turn. So going to get a new one coming up, and they're going to go up on the topaz track. So okay, I think it's going to be food again, and I think I want to try and get this squirrel cuckoo into the game. Have got to look at this end of round goal. Rat and fish in the food cost, so maybe playing this woodstock is going to be a bit of a goal for this round as well, and see what that could do for us in terms of bonus cards as well. So let's take a nectar and a worm. So the nectar is going to help play the squirrel cuckoo, and the worm I think I'm going to use on this lesser spotted woodpecker. So for now we'll take our Coltit, which is going to get a cash. Let's say discard the worm here to get 2 eggs. That's going to allow us to play the squirrel cuckoo next time around, and now we'll return this long-tailed sylph, and I think I will just take it as a brilliant activation, because I do need to move all of these tokens off of the starting space to make sure I'm not losing those points at the end of the game. So we'll take that. We'll see what the Automa is going to do. It's going to get some eggs. And of course, a hummingbird activation as well. So going up this time on the emerald. So you can't see this, but the Automa has now advanced off all of the bottom spaces on the scoring track. So good job over there. We'll do our squirrel cuckoo. So we're going to play that for 2 nectars and 2 eggs, of course, and just get this forest built out a little bit more quickly in this round. So another good turn for us. Automa is going to reset this tray, so we'll see if that is going to reveal anything interesting. Might tempt me into drawing cards. Doesn't look like it. Lots of America's birds coming up, which is good to see. But I don't think necessarily. Maybe the Great Patu could be a fun one. But I don't otherwise think I'll be jumping on any of those. And of course, time for the Automa's hummingbird activation. We will just move the topaz across, and it's going to get to move up on the topaz track. So 2 turns left. As I say, I think I probably want to take food and play this woodstock. So I think that's what I'm going to do. And yeah, we may need to get some extra food, depending on if we can get some nectar coming up on this bird feeder, because we're going to need the right food for this woodstock. So hopefully that is going to come our way. So we'll do a reset on the bird feeder, and there we go. We get 2 nectars, which is what the doctor ordered. We'll grab those. So okay, we got a worm and 2 nectars now. I might actually not use this squirrel cuckoo, because I think I'm going to want the food for here. So we'll skip that. We'll of course do our Coltit. I think now I can afford to do the woodpecker. So we'll discard the worm there, take 2 eggs. And because then we can attract back this long-tailed sylph that we returned on our previous turn. And then in that case, I'm going to grab a rat, which I could use for the woodstock. So another very nice turn there for us. Automa this time is going to take a worm, and it is going to trigger our pink power, so we're going to cash another rat. Excellent stuff. And in terms of hummingbird actions, going to be moving this topaz back over and scoring points over there. So last turn of the round. Yeah, we're going to be playing the wood stork, so that should be a very, very nice one. 2 nectars and a rat and an egg, of course. And a pretty straightforward draw 2 new bonus cards and keep 1, so nothing flashy, but maybe we'll get something good. So let's take a look. We've got Site Selection Expert and Passerine Specialist. Now, this is a very interesting one, Passerine Specialist, because hummingbirds, they count as passerines. They are going to qualify for this bonus card. They all have wingspans less than 30 centimeters. So if we're in the game with 3 hummingbirds on our player mat, that's 3 birds already for this bonus card. And I'm already looking at the coal tit and the brambling and the lesser spotted woodpecker and even this ultramarine grosbeak. We have already got 4. So we've already hit the lower bound, 2 hummingbirds, and we are maxing that out without too much trouble. So I think I'm definitely going to go with that over Site Selection Expert. Yeah, good find. Very, very nice one. Thank you for that Woodstalk. So last turn here for the Automa. I'm going to be drawing this common Parak and scoring 6 points there. Very nice. And of course, seeing on the hummingbird track, but actually no hummingbird score this time around. So there we go. End of the round. We'll do our teal power, which is the brambling. So we're going to draw 2 cards. We're going to get the Dartford Warbler, which always intrigues me. We have got already a couple of cup nests out. I'm not actually sure how this interacts with Automa though, so I might need to check on that. But I think Roadside Hawk I would definitely be tucking because, yeah, at this stage, a teal power, I don't think I'm going to get enough activations of that. But we'll keep the Dartford Warbler and maybe I'll go read the rulebook in between rounds and yeah, decide how this is going to work and if the Automa is going to get any benefit from that. All right, I just had a look, and I think the way it works is that the Automa will be considered to have the same number of cup nests as the number of cubes it has earned during that round. So at the moment, the Automa has 2 cubes. If I were to theoretically play the Dartford Warbler now, obviously I can't because it's the end of the round, but Automa would gain 2 eggs from that. So maybe I can be clever and maybe play this at an opportune time, but could well be one that we look at playing later on. But yeah, as I say, for now, it's the end of the round. We've done our teal powers. It's going to be nectar scoring for the Automa. And yeah, we have 4 fish and rats in the food cost of our playbird. So I think we have just snuck it. So very, very nicely timed Woodstalk, helping us out on the end of round goal and picking up some more points. So yeah, coming into round 3, we will reset again the tray. So we're going to get some fresh birds coming up. And of course, reset this hummingbird garden as well. So we'll say at the halfway stage of the game, it definitely feels like I'm doing less hummingbird activations than in my previous game. But I think that's down to the birds that have come up, and maybe not as many America's birds. Maybe those brown powers that trigger hummingbirds or let you take hummingbird actions are not going to come up as much. Because I'm definitely, not advanced very far on the hummingbird track. So yeah, I might have some work to do there as this game plays out. But yeah, we come into round number 3 and we're in a pretty good spot. We've got this nice forest engine on the go. And I think this is going to be the centerpiece of my strategy, really, is using this as much as possible and yeah, doing some caching and doing some egg laying. So I think let's go ahead and take some food. So we're going to reset and definitely look for some nectar. Try and grab as much of that as we can. Oh, well, okay. I suppose what I'm going to do is take a fish and reset again. I mean, maybe I'll take a fish and a worm because the worm for the woodpecker could be a useful thing to be going for. So let's hope for some nectar this time around. There we go. We do get 1 nectar, so I'll grab that. And yeah, I think I'll cache the fish. On the cuckoo, I'll obviously get my coal tit seed by default. And yeah, let's go ahead and discard a worm and get 2 eggs. And what I'm thinking is, I'll tell you what I'm thinking once I've done my hummingbird return, of course. Now, I do need to start thinking about the bee and the emerald spaces. So I think I'll cover this emerald space and move up there. Maybe try and take the bee one on a future turn. But what I'm thinking is this sun grebe could definitely be going down in this wetlands, and I can be using this power to discard eggs from here, get extra cards, and then cycle those with the turn. And then if they're good cards, I can play them, and if not, I can always discard them. And I'm sort of cycling my resources around. I think this is always a good thing to do in Wingspan. So I'm discarding food for eggs here, and then eggs for cards here, and then those cards are getting turned back into food. So I can always make sure that whatever I'm gaining is being able to either be used, spent to play birds, or turned into other resources, which I could then hopefully use more effectively later on. So pretty nice turn there. For us, and we got a plan, for our next one as well. So we'll see what the Automa is going to do. It is going to draw this sulfur crested cockatoo and score a pretty solid 6 points for that. So not too shabby. Got to shuffle up this deck, of course, take out the round 2 card that we no longer need, and see. The Automa is not going to do anything with Hummingbird, so nice and straightforward. And on our turn, as I say, going to play this sun grebe, spend the nectar, spend an egg, start clearing out this woodpecker, which it's a strong bird, this woodpecker, but you've really got to be careful with that egg space because it fills up very quickly. You can't just spam the forest like you could do if you had, for example, a pelleted woodpecker or a chipping sparrow or something. So requires a little bit more thinking to do, but hopefully we should be able to play around that successfully enough. So sun grebe has gone down, so that's very nice. On to the Automa's next turn, and we're going to get a fresh tray, which is excellent timing because I'm about to go in and draw some cards. So we'll see if anything good comes up. Maybe that ibis could be a nice one to look at. Otherwise, it's just going to be a hummingbird action. Moving up on the brilliant track over there. And all right, it's time, I think, to draw some cards. So we're going to start going off the deck. Willow Warbler, we like to see that. Wedge-tailed Eagle, pretty nice big point bird as well. This is probably the point in the game where I should start thinking about my mechanical engineers. So I've got my 2 cavity nests sorted. I've got my 2 cup nests sorted. I've got 2 platform nests sorted. So it's a ground nest is what I have, and I'm going to need 1 more. So a star nest like this Willow Warbler could definitely come in handy. Now, I think, even though I'm going to get to do it here, I think I am going to discard an egg, as I can do ordinarily to draw an extra card. Common Grackle, okay, that could be a nice play if I've got some extra cards. Maybe even Common Grackle in the forest. Heard it here first. Now we'll do our sun grebe. So, as I say, first of all, we discard 1, draw 1. Crested Oropendola. Now, this is one I highlighted in one of my preview videos. So this is a very, very strong one. It's got the star nest as well. And given that we're kind of spamming the forest, maybe this is going to be my final play. And I can really make advantage of getting extra activations through the Hummingbird track that way. So that's a nice looking one. I will take the additional discard to draw 2 more. Got the Limpkin and the Barred Owl. I'm not sure either of those are going to be super interesting, but this is where we can cycle those around. So Inca turn is going to come in. So I think the Limpkin and the Owl, and I think probably this Willow Warbler. I doubt I'm going to play that a teal power at this stage. Not really what you're looking for. So we'll discard 3 and we'll draw 3. And Southern Lapwing, another one I highlighted in the preview videos. But again, a teal power. Probably a little bit too late. And we've already filled our forest, so not going to do too much there. Yellow Warbler could be nice. And European Shag, always like to see that coming up. So not a bad turn. We get to return our Snowcap as well. And I think I'm just going to take the B space. And just one less thing to worry about. I've avoided a negative score over there. And I can just focus on, trying to get my birds down. And maybe try and get a nice score on 1 or more of those Hummingbird spots. So not a bad turn. We've got lots of cards to work with and lots to think about as the rest of this game plays out. But for now, it's going to be the Automa's turn. She's going to lay some eggs. It's going to take a hummingbird action over there. So pretty straightforward. Can be a little bit fiddly, I think, the Automa, when you've not played it much. But once you start to understand how it works, it's normally pretty smooth going. So, okay, we've got lots of stuff here. And I've got to decide what I want to play. So I think the lapwing and the warbler are probably not going to get played. As I say, I think this Oropendola could be super interesting. But equally, I mean, common grackle, I have got lots of extra cards. It would be a much more straightforward play. But so I do need potentially the star nest to come in and help me out here with mechanical engineer. And we have got this end of ground goal as well, where maybe another ground nest is going to be what we're looking for. But I think regardless, I've got to be taking food here, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to discard a card so I can get 4 food. I'll start off with a nectar and a worm. Both food I need anyway. And then we'll go and reset. And yeah, see if we can get more nectar coming through. We can get a little bit, so I guess let's go nectar. I guess let's go nectar worm again. So I feel like that doesn't hurt at this stage of the game. And now, now this is where we have a decision to make. So as I say, the Oropendola, it's 2 points every turn with the 2 tucks. We move a hummingbird marker down, so we're technically sacrificing 1 point in most scenarios there. But we're able to get that back by then sort of making the most of these bonus hummingbird spaces. So I think I'm going to do that just to try and show what I'm talking about, because it's maybe quite complicated to understand. I think the common grackle would be a very tempting play as well because of all these extra cards. But yeah, I think we're going to go with the Oropendola here and see how that's going to do for us. So in that case, I'm going to skip the squirrel cuckoo, but I am of course going to use the coltit, and then I am of course also going to use the woodpecker, and those 2 eggs are very much going to come in handy here. We now actually get to attract again. Oh, so actually, I'm gonna cheese it a little bit here. This is the benefits you have of playing in person. I think I am actually going to say that I cashed on the squirrel cuckoo, because then I can attract this white-booted racket tail. That's a fun name. And get a nectar back, so wouldn't get away with that online, but it's only me here, so I'll let myself do that. And okay, yeah, so we'll be ready to play this Oropendola on our next turn. First, got to see what the Automa is going to do. It's not going to be drawing any of those cards. It will, however, be doing a hummingbird action and moving up on the track. So I'm already seeing that the Automa is scoring a lot more points on hummingbirds than I am. So I've got my work cut out, but yeah, we'll see what we can do there. But yeah, it's going to be this Oropendola, as I say. So 2 nectars, 1 worm, and 2 eggs. So very nice. Of course, move our action cube over as well. See what the Automa is going to do. It's going to be taking food here. That's going to be triggering our pink power. So that's not done too bad. 3 caches already at this stage of the game. I think that's a pretty good return from that Caracara. See if there's going to be a hummingbird activation. Indeed, there is. It's going to be... Yeah, the Automa is nearly at the top of the brilliant column, so it's going to be trying to max out points there. Got to watch out. Okay, on to our last turn. So I think, yeah, we've got a bit of a decision to make. I think I probably am just going to take food. And I think in terms of next round, I think the eagle and the warbler I'm going to look at playing, and then maybe just see if the brambling can get me something else. And if not, I can always draw cards, or of course, maybe try and use a hummingbird at an opportune time. So let's go ahead and take food. And given it's the last turn of the round, I actually don't really want nectar. So I'm going to try and stack up on worms with maybe the view to the next round. I've already got worms ready to use the woodpecker. And so I can take, yeah, there we go. I can take more nectar from the bird feeder. So 4 worms it is, pretty straightforward. bird feeder, making things easy. So here we go. Move one hummingbird marker down. So what I'm going to do here, I'm actually going to move... I'm going to move the topaz one down. And I get to tuck 2 from the deck. So get my 2 points there. We now cache 1, so it's going to be cache a worm. Here it's going to be cache a seed, of course. And then here it's going to be discard a worm. Lay 2 eggs. And now we return this hummingbird. And I'm going to return this. And I'm going to put it on top of this topaz, which means I then get to move my topaz back up and I get a bonus hummingbird activation. And in this case, I think I'm going to bring this long-billed hermit over, and I'm going to try and advance some of these other ones. So I'm thinking maybe this brilliant one and get me close to this hummingbird bonus space. Try and take advantage of that. So pretty good turn there, scoring plenty of points. Over to the Automa. It's going to be resetting the trade, but we're going to be doing that anyway for the round end. And it's going to be doing pretty simple hummingbird activation as well. So teal power time is going to be the brambling for us. Going to be drawing 2, and okay, pretty good find there in the black rail. Has the nest type that is going to support the mechanical engineer, although I think we might already be good for that, but it's going to help us with some more bonus cards as well. So I think we'll go with that. The Oriental Bay Owl, I'm not going to be able to play, so we'll be tucking that along with something else. Let's just do this Warbler, which I also can't play. So yeah, we're going to still get our 2 tucks on the brambling. So that's worked out pretty nicely in the end. So Automa's going to score some points in this end of round goal. We will score some as well because we did just about qualify there. But yeah, we did get beaten, which is fine. There was not too much we could do about that one. Anyway, so reset the tray, reset the hummingbird garden, of course, as well. And see if we get anything interesting coming up. Not really any big point birds, but I do feel like I've already got enough big point options in my hand where this end game might be quite straightforward. It might just be a case of maybe take food a couple of times and then play these big point birds that we've got. I think it's going to be, yeah, the black rail and the eagle and the Dartford warbler. Those will feel like good options to me. So, okay. Into this final round, we'll get the Automa's hummingbird deck prepped and primed and ready to go. And yeah, we've got to think, maybe the only thing we've got to think about is this passerine specialist. So the black rail and the Dartford warbler would both hit that. So we have 2 there, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I think we are actually going to be okay for passerine specialist regardless. But as I say, sometimes the hummingbirds, they can help out that. And maybe they'll still help out with this black rail. But I think what I'm going to do is, because, as I sort of touched on, the strat with the Dartford warbler here is to play it when the Automa can't benefit from it. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and play that now and get that into the game. So yeah, it's going to be 2 worms, which we conveniently already had. Lose 1 egg, of course, but then we get to activate this power. So lay 1 egg on each bird with a cup nest. That's going to be 4 for us. That's pretty good. And no benefit for the Automa. So we'll take our cubes back, be ready to go. And yeah, that's just helped clear out a little bit of space on the woodpecker as well. So, okay. Time for the Automa to take her turn. And it is going to be resetting this tray. So who knows, maybe something juicy is going to come up that we're going to look to play, or maybe not, because I don't think any of those birds are super interesting. And let's have a look at what we have in terms of the hummingbird action. It's going to be up on the topaz track. So okay, I think we're going to take some food here and hope for lots of nectar, of course. But a worm wouldn't hurt, because I do want to look at using that woodpecker if I can. So okay, that's worked out pretty well. I'm just going to straight up take I think 3 nectar. Or maybe actually, I'm going to do 2 nectar and a fish. Because I'm thinking about caching on this squirrel cuckoo. So we'll do 2 nectar, a fish, and a worm, of course. We then move a hummingbird token down. So I think in this case, yeah, I'm looking at lots of topaz hummingbirds in the tray. So I'm going to move the topaz one down again, anticipating that when I come to the end, I suppose I've already got one there that I could return and move back up. But I'm anticipating my hummingbird action to move that back up. So that's not going to be a problem. We'll cache one, so it's going to be the fish. We'll cache one here. It's going to be a seed. And then, of course, discard a worm. Get 2 eggs on this woodpecker. And yeah, as I say, we're then going to return this. And I suppose what I can actually do is return it onto one that I don't necessarily need. So I'm going to return it here, move up, and then that allows me to attract. So let's do this one and take another nectar. So pretty good going there. Pretty nice turn. And yeah, we've got a very healthy stack of nectar on the board and also in our supply. So hopefully that will help score some more points. So Automa will take her turn. It's going to be food, and it's going to be another cache on my pink power. So that's going to work out very nicely. What she wants to take looks like it's going to be the worm / seed. And yeah, we get ourselves a cached rat. So very nice on the Caracara. And any hummingbird action? Yes, this time. Moving across. Getting a mango, which also works out well for us. And okay, next turn. So I think this is the time to get this black rail in. See what the bonus card is, because that may affect things in terms of that final turn. So 3 nectars and 2 eggs. And yeah, we get to draw a new bonus card for each ground nest bed. So we have 1, 2, 3 of those. So it's going to be looking at 3 bonus cards, and hopefully something good is going to be in here. So okay, we've got Backyard Birder, which you kind of never want to see, but we have actually got a few of those. Forest Data Analyst, also never really want to see that, but we do actually have potentially some points there. A Wetland Population Monitor, which you also don't want to see, because that's only going to be... Looks like 3 points regardless, so I think we'll just keep the Wetland Population Monitor and score our 3 points there. So not a great pickup, but it certainly could have been worse at this stage of the game. So we played birds, we'll put our cube over there and yeah, see what the Automa is going to do. It's going to try and pick up a bird. None available. And in terms of the hummingbird action, move that across and go up on the emerald spot. So 2 turns left for us. I think it's going to be quite straightforward. I think it's just going to be to take food and just play this eagle. I don't really see too much else really that I have as an option. So let's go ahead and do that. So we'll take food, and we've got lots of nectar. So I think I might just take all nectar. Although no, I do definitely want 1 worm. So I'm going to take... I'm going to take 2 nectar, and then I'm going to re-roll. Because I can always get a nectar back with the hummingbird action if I need to. But I do definitely need to try and get a worm to turn that into 2 points with the woodpecker. So can we get ourselves a worm? Yes, we can. And another nectar coming up. But yeah, as I say, we actually don't need to necessarily do that. So I'm going to go for a worm and a fish. And then, again, got to think ahead a little bit with this Oropendola. So I think, again, to be honest, I'm just going to do the topaz one because I think returning this is going to be quite straightforward. So we'll go ahead and do that. And yeah, get our 2 tucks. So very nice. We'll then cache a fish here on our squirrel cuckoo. Cold hit cache. Coming in. Discard a worm. So lay 2 eggs on the woodpecker. And then, yeah, we return the sword-billed hermit, and I'm seeing potential for a very, very nice turn here. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover up this one, advance here, so I get to take a bonus hummingbird action, of course. So that is going to be to attract this plover crest. I'm actually going to put it down here. And then this benefit of this hummingbird is that I can move up a space on the hummingbird track, so I can now move up my brilliant space, or my brilliant token, to another bonus hummingbird space. And then that's going to allow me to attract another hummingbird, which I'm going to do this violet saber wing, which gets me a nectar. And so that was all just from one hummingbird activation. We got a bunch of extra benefits there, so worked out pretty nicely in the end. And yeah, there we go. That's our food gaining done. We've got what we need. Let's play this eagle on our last turn, but we'll see what Automa is going to do. It's going to be 3 eggs laid, and it's going to be hummingbird space as well. So nice turn, should replenish that as well. And yeah, last turn for us. So I say, I think it's just play this wedge-tailed eagle. Don't think there's really too much to think about there. Try and see if we can compete on this grassless nectar by getting 3 in there late on here. Spend our 2 eggs, of course. And yeah, finish with no food in our supply, which is always a nice thing to aim for. So last turn for the Automa as well. Going to be drawing a face down card. I'm not going to bother resetting because it's not going to matter here. And yeah, we've got our teal power, so Brambling, I mean, again, draw 2 from the deck. Doesn't really matter. They're going to get tucked anyway. There for some points. And okay. End of round goal time, we have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So actually Wedge-tailed eagle helped potentially for the end of round goal as well. So 7 for us there, and it did. We managed to beat the Automa. Kashuni scored 6, so very happy with that. And all right, into the final score. So let's take a look at our spent nectar. It looks like we've got 8 in the forest. So that's pretty good going. That might be enough to beat the Automa. Grasslands, a little bit less there, but we did manage to get some through at the end. Looks like 6 in total. So again, not too bad. And we spent a fair amount in the wetlands as well. That might be 6 also. Yeah, that is also 6. So pretty good showing. We'll see. Is that going to be enough? Okay, we actually we actually ended up losing the forest, which is quite funny because that's the one I thought. Oh, actually, we did have another one. I miscounted, so we should have had 9. We'll see if that makes a difference. If that extra nectar is going to get us a tie. No, we still lose. So okay, that one we lose, but we did win the grasslands and tie in the wetlands, so not too bad overall. But okay, time to add up our bird points. So in the forest, we've got quite a few small ones. We've got 2 and 2 and 2, 6 and 6. Grasslands is 4 and 3, 5 and 7, and then wetlands a little bit more. 5, 6, and then 2 4s. So 56 bird points, not too bad. Bonus cards. So okay, yeah, mechanical engineer. We know we maxed that out. We got plenty of birds down, got enough nest types for that. So 8 points there. Pestering specialist. Yeah, I mean we had our 3 hummingbirds anyway, but even without that, maxed that out. So that's another 6. Wetland population, not quite such a good one for us, but still 3 points. So 17 from 3, not too bad. Eggs, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It looks like in the end. So a fair few. Cached food, we definitely had plenty of those. So we've got 4 here on the Caracara. So that's pretty good. We have, it looks like 7. Yeah, 7 on this Coltit, so that's 11. And then is it another 5? Yeah, it's 5 on this Squirrel Cuckoo. So that's 16. So that's a pretty good number of cache food. We were definitely scoring well there with the birds in our forest, and of course that pink power. So yeah, 16 cache food. Tuck cards. So Oropandola definitely coming in helpful there. But likewise this Brambling that we did get down nice and early. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Hopefully not unlucky 13 tuck cards. for us there. And all right, so that's going to show us beating the Automa, but as I say, Automa, I'm looking over, it's definitely done better on the Hummingbird. So we only scored 3 points at the end, which is it's pretty poor. I felt like I was going to do better than that, but clearly missing the brown powers. And yeah, obviously moving down. I feel like that didn't hurt me, but maybe it did. I don't know. It's hard to tell. But yeah, so only 3 points there. So that puts us up to 140 in total. But yeah, I think the Automa might have me here because it's maxed out. I'll actually bring this over so that you can see. It's maxed out two columns and picked up a fair few points. So 26 points from the Hummingbird score. Yeah, looks like Automa is just going to pit me there on 144. So there's a couple of big scores there. Don't often see the Automa scoring 144, but as I say, it definitely seems to do well on these Hummingbird tracks. Remember, of course, it scores a Hummingbird point pretty much every single turn from the Hummingbird card. It's always going to be moving up this track, so that definitely helps out, and that's definitely an area where, yeah, I was not able to do quite so well. But still a good game, still a good score. I'm happy with 140. I think whenever you score that, you can't complain too much. And we had some good birds come down from the Americas expansion. I think the woodpecker was good from British birds as well. And yeah, maybe just a slightly better bonus card, the black rail. Not quite doing what I wanted it to there, but there we go. That was a game against the Automa with all of the expansions, including the brand new upcoming Wingspan Americas expansion. So hopefully you found that interesting to watch. Hopefully you got a sense of how these new birds interact with, obviously, the Oceania boards in this case, but also those other birds that we all know and love from previous expansions, but also seeing how those birds themselves interact with the new Hummingbird mechanism. So it's definitely a lot of fun. It changes the game up and allows a little bit more creativity, and as you see, some slightly higher scores as well. So I've really enjoyed being able to play this new expansion. So huge thanks again to Stonemaier for providing this preview copy. If you're interested in getting your hands on Wingspan Americas expansion, there'll be a link to Stonemeier's web store in the video description. For now though, thank you so much for watching. If you want to see more Wingspan content, do hit that subscribe button so that you can stay tuned and get notified of future releases. And I hope to see you again in another video very soon.